Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live with Mindset Monday. I got my co-host here, Dave. Dave, what's going on, bud?
Jonathan, what's up, brother? How are you? Good to see you, man.
Doing well. Had a good weekend. Got a lot. Got enough done. I wouldn't say a lot. Got enough done to call it a success. What about you?
You always feel that way, man. Just I had a good weekend with my kids. For those of you that don't know, my wife's kind of been on the sidelines right now with a medical procedure. So getting to run around and play dad and mom at the same time has been fun and adjusting time too. But it was cool to do swimming with my son over the weekend, get him dialed in with that, something that he loves. And then my daughter at a birthday party with a bunch of little 3 and 4 year olds bouncing around on trampolines and all that fun stuff at Urban Air. So it was a good weekend. So I love that time with the kids, man.
Yeah, you're shocked when you have to step in, right? Normally, if you have like a division of duties and then you take over everything for a certain period of time, it really makes you appreciate that other person. Like
Yeah,
I've done it. I've done it on a lot of different things. I'll give you one that sounds so simple and easy, right? Sunday mornings is hockey. We go there, but if it's just one of us, getting both of them ready for hockey is much harder than if it's just 2-on-2. You know what I mean?
dude, my wife's a teacher, right? And up early. So she's out of school, like basically for a month and or out of teaching or out of work, whatever you want to call it, for the next month. And I got to get one kid completely on the other side of town, right, to her daycare at a
Yeah.
certain specific time. I'm dragging my son with me. I mean, at the same time I was, but he's at home now, staying home with my wife. She wasn't home for a little while, and recovering from her procedure. But before it was like getting him out at the same time, right? But now that she's home, it's like, okay, they can stay home. Then I come back, do my morning routine, like with them, help her kind of get her stuff together, even though she's a lot better now, but then help him get ready and then out the door. And it's like the day starts. And then I have to be responsible for picking the one up when she usually is. And
Yeah.
it's like, holy shit, dude. It's like,
Yeah.
you want to talk about maximizing your time in a day? Like,
Hmm. I
it
know.
was it's been the craziest like 2.5 weeks so far. And thankfully, and in the next day or two, she'll be able to start driving again. So, it's definitely something that we take for granted, man. And there's it's a lot to be grateful for too that you take for granted, man. So to all you single moms who do it out there, and single dads, God bless you, man, for real.
Yeah, it's the truth. So, what did you want to talk on today?
Let's talk about acting as if, man. Like, it's crazy that we just talked about all that stuff, because sometimes those things can take you off of your focus and off of your game, right? If your mentality or your mindset for whatever you're trying to accomplish, right? I love use fitness as an example. A lot of us are in the tail end of this first wave of 75 hard. We're on day 71. Those of you that started on January 1st. If you've come in fresh, right? Have never gone through that experience to get your life together, to get your mental better, right? Act as if, well, if you're trying to get a mental edge and be a badass, right? Act as if you're already there. If you're trying to lose 50 pounds, act as what that would be like, how that would take you there. Set your mind up to see that, right? If
Oh,
you're, go ahead.
I think when it comes to that, you have to step into the mindset of someone that has done that already, right?
100%.
So let's like break this down to make it super super clear, right? So if you want to have a certain body, what does it take? What does the person that would have that body do, right? So that's kind of how I've positioned my 75 hard diet, right? I like doing things that are sustainable. I don't want to do something that I have to do for 75 days or 105 days and it's miserable. So I just don't eat processed shit, right? I do that. I do my work. I'm serious. I do that. I do my workouts. The weight flies off. I'm at like 167, but I'm just as big as I've ever been, if not bigger. Just shred it. Same thing when it comes to finances. Okay, if you're making 100,000 a year right now, and you want to increase your income. Well, what does someone that makes 200,000 act like? What's their process like? How many, like for us, I'm in sales. So how many calls is that person making, right? What is that person doing outside of work to get better? They're reading, they're learning about sales. Okay. So when you say act as if, there's a lot of important things there. You're not acting like you're not pretending that you're doing it. You're doing all the habits and envisioning all the habits that someone that would do that would have. And by you adapting to those habits, you're going to have a higher level of output. I'll give you a really good one. Okay. Act as if. A lot of people don't know this, but when Arete first started, it was $6,000 a month. Okay. $6,000 a month, every single month for a year. That was a massive stretch for me back then. I'm going to be real with you. Looking back, no one in their right mind would have done that. I was making good money back then, but not what I'm doing now. And I've spoken to a few people that were in that group and that had similar feelings. But guess what? Because I knew I was going to act as if, and I adapted the habits, and I was around the right people in the right room, it actually allowed me to make that one of the highest yielding investments I've ever made. Right. And it leveled me up, it leveled my connections up, and my business grew because of it. Now, there was definitely a little bit of imposter syndrome being there. All right. And it was like that for a while. However, over time, I was able to increase my skill, increase my connections, and guess what? Further assimilate into the group that I knew I needed to be part of. And, I would 10 out of 10 times make that investment again. It all paid off. Why? Because I adapted the habits that I needed to. Okay. And that allowed me to earn more. It allowed me to be a better leader. It allowed me to grow my company. All those things that really actually matter, it helped with. What else you got, Dave?
Gotta visualize that, man. Like the whole acting as if to better articulate it starts with seeing that, and getting around those people. I had one of these new guys on our team say, "Hey, man, what do you think the best thing for somebody trying to level up to get there, besides acting as if," and it's to exactly say who you are, is to get around people, get around those people, and continue to get around those people, whether that's virtually, even better if you can touch them, right? Like that's the most important thing, is get yourself in those circles, get to where you want by getting around those people, and stay away from what you don't want. Which means, hey, if you have to kick some people to the curb, you have to be willing to do that to get to where you want to go. People say that's a sacrifice. I don't think it's a sacrifice at all. I think it's necessary, and I think it's crazy that people look at that. Oh, you got to sacrifice old relationships or this or that. No, you necessarily have to move up. It's your duty if that's where you're trying to go.
Yeah, I think people put a lot of too much stock into you're going to lose a lot of friends. You're going to lose, so as you're doing this, one, you are finding and you're developing new relationships, right? And two, that doesn't mean I don't speak to my old friends. It doesn't mean like the people I've grown up with forever, I'm still great friends with them. There's nothing has changed. It's just, I'm not, boozing half the weekend away. Instead of partying all weekend, I'm trying to find time, do cool things with my kids, right? Take them fishing. They love going to the pool. We were in the pool all week. And then what am I doing in between? I'm reading, I'm getting a little bit more work done, but I'm working on my goals and what my area of focus is. When you shift your focus, that means everything that you're doing should be aligned with that, right? And so if you're really set on self-improvement, driving your company forward, driving your team forward, that's going to dominate a lot of your headspace, right? And if it's dominating a lot of your headspace the way it should, the other actions that you're doing are all leading and supporting what those goals are, right? And if that excludes certain people, then it excludes certain people for that time, and you could always reevaluate down the line, right? But that's what it is, and that's the price that you pay to to live like other people can't.
100%, man. And it stems to with what you said of to hey, those guys are still there, but when you're coming in business, you see other things and that you want to get, but it also stems from a leadership standpoint. There's people within your circle, within your company, your brand that depend on you. So you start thinking of them more too, besides, okay, the business, the clientele. Well, okay, I got the team, man. Like I gotta worry about that. That's my focus. Those are my group too. Those are the people I need to be around. Besides being around up here to act as if I want to be here. Well, on the flip side, right, I need to be here for them too. Yeah. So, yeah, man, all goes hand in hand, brother.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, listen, do us a favor. Share this if someone needs to hear it. Comment on it. Drop some questions in. Maybe we'll cover them on next week's show. All right, we appreciate you. Hope you're crushing it. Have a great week.
Be great, y'all.